Hello, Upset. Can you talk me through this game? Because, I mean, that was quite a bloody one, right? But still
Mhm.
no Rhinos Atakan.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of our goal, I guess, going into this one. We wanted
Okay.
to show the fans the beautiful flowers, but we didn't manage to do it. I think Hilly was also trying his best, but it didn't happen for some reason. I mean, the game was just very one-sided, I would say, because of how the early game went, especially on bot lane. We got a lot of trades, we took a lot of their sums. Even though Mickey like died under the tower, it meant they had no sums, and 3v3 our champs were just very, very strong. So when it came to them trying to get the wave into our tower, it was just impossible. And from that point forward, it just snowballed out of control. Everyone was playing really well on the team, and we had a good draft today as well. So yeah, it was just a fast game for us. Good snowball.
I mean, that was quite an important one, right? Because, like, yesterday you lost to Koi. Um, what do you think happened in that match?
I think
And
our draft was
yeah.
just really bad in the Koi match, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
And it's our responsibility, right, as a team. All the players and the coaches need to make sure we have a better draft. So all of us took a hard look at ourselves, I think. I think I was also not the most focused in the draft, and maybe was a little bit distracting towards my teammates. So I think that's really important that we make sure we pick good champs. So I guess that our meta read is just on point because it's a best of one, right? And it's also a new patch, so it's was a little bit difficult, I guess, to go into the first day like a little bit blind, right? Because we haven't seen all the other teams play yet or our opponent. So I think now that we have seen more games in Europe and we have played more and we are also seeing the other regions, of course, we will have this more figured out, I think, yeah.
To return a bit on your recent history, I wanted to know how did you personally live those past 2 years with KC and Vitality?
Well, I would say it was really a lot of up and downs, and
Yeah.
it was a new experience in my career. I was one time in my career last place in Origin, but it was like the difference between last place and fifth place was one game or something like that, something crazy like that. It was like one of these crazy splits with like where all the teams were super close, so it didn't necessarily feel like we were the worst team or something, but in the three splits, like in the first Vitality split, we managed to get top three, and I
Yeah.
felt like things were going well. But then in the next splits, I think the team was just not in a good form, and then the losing spiral started happening. And I think in KC, the roster in the first two splits was just not quite the top level, I would say. So we had a lot of struggles too. But then we also managed to at least finish top four in the last split, right? So you could see that it is a bit weird that in 1 year I can have the experience of being like in the top part of the league, and then in the next split I can be in the last place of the league. It's just really sometimes really confusing to me in a way because I see that we are capable, but then things can escalate so much in one direction. So I would say for me, honestly, it has been just a huge opportunity to grow and learn. I think difficult moments and adversity is what makes your character grow, and I think I've been learning more to deal with difficult situations like that, where even if everything is going terrible in my career, which is obviously very important to me, I can still try to have a positive outlook on the future, still believe in myself, still think that better days will come and that I can make the difference in the right environment. And also, you need to learn to take a little bit of distance from the expectations, I suppose, of that you have. Obviously, I have very high expectations for myself, but if the results are going really, really bad, you also need to understand that uh, it's in the end it's up to the whole team to make it work, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just can't fulfill your individual aspirations when the group just doesn't click well, I would say.
Okay. Did you expect having such an opportunity after last year? And do you think that like your off season could have changed in a way if you didn't manage to get that fourth place finish in summer last year?
Mm, I mean, it's very, very hard to say, right? Because obviously we did manage to
Yeah.
finish quite well. once the roster was changed. So I don't know exactly how my market value would have been if we, let's say, finished really poorly again
And
with the same roster.
did
But
you did you expect having such an opportunity after last year?
I would say I was pretty optimistic, honestly.
Okay.
I think what is like on social media, or like people that dislike me, their opinion of me, and what is the opinion of like other players behind the scenes, let's say, or organizations, can be very different, right?
Yeah, obviously.
I still am very grateful. I have a lot of really supportive fans, and really I'm very happy with that. But obviously there's also the other side. So maybe for some of these people that see me in a really different way, it would be surprising. But to me, I felt quite confident going into the offseason that I will end up in a good team, because I think I have still a lot of qualities to bring. To be honest, even more now. I think the 2 years really helped me. I think like you obviously won't shine as much as if you're in a very good team. If you are struggling, or like if you're in a team that's struggling, but at the same time you can learn a lot of things that you can't learn when you're in a team where things are going very well. I was pretty confident in myself, and I'm not sure why, but I always feel like I'm a very good player, and I believe in myself a lot. So I had high hopes.
Okay. So now you came back to Fnatic. I mean, you found way much success with them in the past, right? But we also all know that like you didn't live on the best terms with them. I'm not going to go too much on the details, but how did you like reunite together after you separated?
Well, it is true that the end of how it ended my time at Fnatic was not the most, like we were not on the best terms in terms of like what we were expecting from each other, maybe. But I think I also saw what was happening in other teams in these 2 years that gave me also a very new perspective,
Okay.
even on the teammates that I was playing with back then that I have in the team now, like Marek and Humanoid, but also just in general of what I really want from the team, what is important to me. So I think this change of perspective led me to reflect a lot on what wasn't as good in Fnatic, or what I didn't feel like was as good in Fnatic back then, that I maybe thought would be better in other places. But I came to the realization that I overall felt really at home in Fnatic in my long time there, right? And that I was actually very happy to reunite in this org. Obviously, no place is perfect. Obviously, I'm not. That's just life in general.
Yeah,
But
obviously.
I'm very happy to be back in the team. I think we had really a lot of very productive conversations in the off season, and I'm grateful to be back in Fnatic and to have the opportunity. And I also feel that Fnatic, like since 2018, since I am playing it, hasn't won something, same as me. So in that way, it's also like a little bit, let's say, inspirational for me. Winning in Fnatic would mean so much to me,
Yeah.
because I think our stories are like obviously
Connected.
intertwined. Obviously, I was also in Fnatic for some time, and even though we went to finals and did like had some good games, overall we didn't quite manage to get to that really last step. So that is like my dream for playing, right? That I can do it in Fnatic together with this group. That would really mean a lot to me.
So now you're paired with Mikyx. I will say that he's not as a psycho as Elias, right? But they're kind of the same players, right? They're the same type that loves to create space even when that means playing on the edge. Do you feel the same way? And we know how well the Giorgio with Elias went. Do you think like you can do even better with Mickey?
I mean, first, I kind of agree with your assessment that they are similar in a lot of ways. I would say personality-wise, both of them are really nice, just human beings. Like they're super friendly, really kind, really considerate, I would say. So that's just always lovely to be around,
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
Especially when, yeah, when you go through difficult moments too. I see in both, like I see a lot of confidence in both of them in the way they play, and for me that's like exactly how I would want my support to play too. I think if me and my support are on the same page, and we can both really fulfill this like the vision of how we want to play together. We can be really aggressive, and for that you need your support most of the time to go first because they have the initiation. So I really love playing with Mickey. It's hard to compare like who I like it more with or if we will be better. I think we will be at least as good if we put in the same work that me and Hilly did, and we're already doing it. So I really love playing with Mickey for sure.
Thank you very much, Upset. Good luck for your next game and for the season. See you.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.